Echo, does anyone read me? Over.
Hey everyone, welcome back to your NRD show. I'm your host, Spoiler Master. Today we're diving deep into the first episode of 9 Bodies in a Mexican Morgue. It's a thriller that had us on the edge of our seats from start to finish, filled with mystery, tension, and lots of questions that we can't wait to unpack. If you haven't watched the episode yet, be sure to hit that play button and come back after. But beware, spoilers ahead. Let's talk about the plot, the characters, and our top theories on what happened. So without further ado, let's break it down.
Nos hallaron en un pozo, puestos en fila. Eso nos dijeron.
Body of the video. Let's start right from the beginning. The first episode opens with a chilling scene. 9 bodies are discovered in a pit in the Mexican wilderness. The bodies are brought to a military camp in Los Trios, where 2 officers, Lopez and Captain Gabriel Vega, are tasked with handling them. The situation feels off from the start, with Vega questioning why they're even receiving these bodies in the first place. Someone higher up seems to be trying to cover something up, and the bodies end up in this rundown camp, away from prying eyes. At the camp, we meet Emilio and Cora de Leon. This couple is introduced in the episode as people who are watching the situation unfold from the shadows. They're clearly interested in these bodies, but we're not exactly sure why. Are they there to steal the bodies, or something hidden within them? Whatever their intentions are, it doesn't seem like they have good motives. Their presence adds an eerie sense of unease and makes us question what's really going on. So before we jump into the mystery of who killed these people, let's rewind a bit and go over the crash that set everything in motion.
Is everyone okay? Is anyone hurt?
I need to get my husband out of here.
The crash and the survivors. 8 passengers boarded a flight in Guatemala, heading to Houston, Texas, but the plane never made it there. As soon as the plane took off, things went wrong. The pilot, Octavio Fuentes, tries to call for help when the GPS system malfunctions, but no one answers. The plane runs out of fuel, and ultimately, Octavio has to make an emergency landing. But instead of landing somewhere safe, the plane crashes in the middle of the Mexican tropical forest. This is where things get really interesting because we're introduced to the survivors, and each of them has a unique story, making them all potential suspects in the unfolding mystery.
Get the pilot!
You want to leave him?
The characters first. We meet Amy McLean and her husband, Dan. They're on their honeymoon, traveling around Mexico, Belize, and Guatemala, and their story kicks off with a small revelation. Amy's father is a tough guy, one with a dangerous reputation who often makes headlines. We don't know much about Amy's father yet, but the fact that Amy brings him up makes us wonder if this will come into play later in the series. Then, we've got Travis and Lisa Davies, another American couple. They're MAGA supporters who run a chain of motels in Kansas and Oklahoma. Like Amy and Dan, they were also vacationing in Guatemala and were on their way home when the crash happens. Their personalities and attitudes already give us some tension on the plane, and we're left wondering whether their political views or their business dealings will have any impact on the mystery. Zach Ellis, an insurance investigator, is also on the plane. He was in Guatemala to investigate a fire at a depot, which he believes was arson. He's returning to the US after filing his report, but it's his profession that stands out to us. An insurance investigator might have access to information that could be key to uncovering what really happened during the crash. Then there's Kevin Anderson, a man with medical experience. Though he doesn't seem like a doctor. He deals in medical equipment and buys surgical supplies in Guatemala to sell at a profit back in the States. His profession seems like a red flag, and his background could play a crucial role in the mystery surrounding the crash and the subsequent deaths. There are 2 more passengers whose stories are a bit more cryptic. Sonia, the English woman, claims she was traveling to Guatemala for similar reasons as everyone else, but there's something off about her story. Why is she being so secretive? And then there's Carlos Luchador, the Mexican wrestler. He's the most mysterious of them all. He's secretive, keeps his luggage close, and the other passengers are suspicious of him. Is he hiding something? Given his reputation as a wrestler, is he involved in something darker, or could it be something more sinister? Lastly, we have the flight crew, Octavio the pilot and Beatriz Ortega, the flight attendant. Unfortunately, both of them don't make it through the crash. Beatriz dies instantly when she breaks her neck during the crash. while Octavio is suffocated after Kevin tries to treat his injuries. Octavio's death is one of the most perplexing parts of the episode.
Why did we crash?
The GPS.
What about it?
The mystery of Octavio's death. So, who killed Octavio? That's the burning question that's left unanswered at the end of the first episode. Let's try to piece things together. First of all, it's worth noting that the plane's GPS system malfunctioned, which is highly suspicious. Was it a mere accident, or was someone tampering with it before the plane even took off? The fact that no one could reach Octavio for help when he requested assistance makes us think that something more is going on here. When Octavio crashes the plane in the jungle, the survivors are faced with a desperate situation. They need to work together if they want to survive. This is when the first cracks in the group's dynamic start to show. They begin to share their personal backgrounds, but as we go deeper into their personalities, the tension between them only grows. It's clear that not all of them are as innocent as they appear, but it's Octavio's death that stands out. He's not just an ordinary passenger. He's the one who could have potentially saved them all, or at least led them to safety, but someone silenced him. This is where the suspicions around Carlos start to build. He's been acting weird, working out late at night, and keeping to himself. But is he really the killer? Or is he just a red herring to throw us off the scent? Another theory is that Amy's husband, Dan, might be hiding something. Could he be the killer? Or maybe the English woman, Sonia, is involved in some way. At this point, the show has us questioning everyone. But one thing is for sure, there's a killer among the survivors, and it's up to us to figure out who it is. The end of episode 1 and what's next. At the end of the first episode, we see the bodies being discovered at the military camp. There's a pit, and these bodies are all lined up. The officers, led by Captain Vega, already have 10 passports in their possession, but the situation doesn't add up. There's a mystery behind these bodies, and the big question is, who's the one missing from the lineup? The officers know that one of these survivors might have made it out of the crash alive, and that person might be the killer. But what if the killer took someone else's identity? What if the person who is missing didn't carry their original passport? This opens up a lot of possibilities. Could the killer be hiding among the bodies, taking out the others one by one? And how long before the authorities realize something is wrong? This sets up the next episode to be just as thrilling as the first. We've got a lot of unanswered questions, and it's clear that there's a much deeper mystery to uncover.
Didn't you see?
What?
There was someone there.
Our nerdy thoughts. So, what do you think? Who do you think killed Octavio? Could it be Carlos, Amy's husband, or maybe even someone else entirely? Let us know your theories in the comments. We're dying to hear your thoughts. As always, make sure to hit that like button if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you're new here, and ring that notification bell so you don't miss any updates on 9 bodies in a Mexican morgue. We'll be back next time to break down the next episode and continue unraveling this gripping mystery. Until then, stay curious and stay safe.
No, what the heck, I'll laugh anyway.